nutshell, I have been reading Junie B. Jones is a graduation girl, and yesterday we read chapters 1 and 2. So today I'm going to start on chapter 3, maybe get to 5, maybe 6. Okay, chapter 3 is a good chuckle. The office is where a principal lives. I know my way there by heart. There is a typing lady there too. She looked over the counter at me. "Well, well, well, would you look who it is?" she said. I looked down at myself. "Well, well, well. It looks like me," I said kind of quiet. The typing lady pointed at the blue chair. "The blue chair is where the bad kids sit. Only I'm not even that bad, but I still have to sit there sometimes." I put my feet on the edge of the chair, and I hid my face in my knees. If you don't hide your face, people can recognize yourself. Finally, I peeked one eye at the principal's door, and guess what? That guy was looking right back at me. "Is that Junie B. Jones I see out there?" he asked. I did a gasp. "'Cause principal can even recognize me from one eyeball, apparently." I went into his office, and I sat in the big wood chair. Principal winked at me. "I'm a little bit surprised to see you, Junie B.," he said. "You hadn't been sent here for quite some time." I nodded. "I know it," I said. "That's because my behavior has shown considerable improvement." I pronounced the words very perfect. "My teacher printed those words on my report card," I said, "and guess what else showed improvement? My speaking, that's what. 'Cause I don't say runned anymore, and I don't say thinked, and I don't say throwed. Do you want to hear me say the words right, huh? Do you, Principal?" I took a deep breath. Ran, 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 ran. Thought, 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 thought. Through, 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 I said. I smiled very proud. "See, I told you. Mother says I'm always getting better at vocabulary," I said. "Vocabulary," said Principal, "not vocabulary." "Whatever," I said. Principal smiled. "Yes, well, I'm delighted with your improvements, Junie B.," he said. "But if everything has gotten better, why are you here?" I wiggled all around in my chair, very uncomfortable like. "Because it wasn't my fault, that's why," I said. "What wasn't your fault?" said Principal. I wiggled some more. Then finally I told Principal about how my teacher made us write a graduation poem, and how she said the last word had to rhyme with blue. "And so Polly Allen Puffer rhymed the word P-U," I said, but then Mrs. got very mad at him, because she did not appreciate his behavior, young man. Only too bad for me, because my brain thought of an even similar poem, and my mouth couldn't hold it inside. Principal closed his eyes. He did some deep breaths. "All right," he said. "Let's hear it." I gulped, very worried. Then I made my voice real soft. "Roses are red, violets are blue. Graduation is here, and your feet smell like stink," I said. After that, Principal kept his eyes closed a real long time, and he didn't say any more words. Then, very slow, he put his head down on his desk, and he started to laugh. His laughing got louder and louder, and so guess what? Then I started laughing too. That poem was a beaut, right, Principal? We are having ourselves a good chuckle over this, aren't we? Principal stopped laughing very fast. He raised his head again. "No, Junie B., no, we are not having a good chuckle," he said. "I'm sorry. Your poem caught me completely by surprise, but I never should have laughed like that. That was wrong." He crossed his arms at me. "You are right about one thing, though," he said. "Your poem is definitely silly, but silly things are not always appropriate to say in the classrooms, are they?" Your teacher made it clear that she did not like what Polly Allen had said, Junie B., but you called out your poem anyway." He made squinty eyes at me. "And please do not blame it on your mouth, okay? You know you could have held that inside." I shrugged my shoulders. "I don't know," I said kind of quiet. "Maybe I could have." Principal tapped his fingers on his desk. "It's a very serious matter to disobey your teacher, Junie B," he said, "and I want you to sit here and think about just how serious this is. Can you do that, please?" "Yes, I can. After that, I squeezed my eyes real tight, and I thought and thought. Finally, I opened my eyes again. "Good news," I said. "I've said my last stink." Principal nodded his head. "That is good news," he said. Then he stood up, and he held my hand, and he walked me into the hall. "It's been an interesting year getting to know you, Junie Jones," he said. "You're a fascinating little girl." "Why, thank you," I said. "You are fascinating yourself." After that, both of us waved goodbye, and I started skipping back to room 9. Then, all of a sudden, I stopped, and I spun right around. Yeah, only we are not saying goodbye forever. Right, Principal? Right? Because next year I will get sent down here too, probably. Or else maybe you and I will see each other on the playground, right? Principal did a chuckle. "Right," he said. "Hooray!" I said. "Hooray, hooray!" Then I turned back around and I skipped to room 9 my fastest. 'Cause maybe if I hurried, I could still sprinkle glitter on something. Chapter 4. Cats and Gowns. I skipped in the door of room 9. Then my whole face got happy. 'Cause guess who was talking to my teacher? It was Gus Baloney, that's who. And Gus Baloney is my favorite janitor. I zoomed right over to that guy. "Gus Baloney! Gus Baloney! It's a joy to see you," I said. "And so what brings you here anyway?" Gus Baloney patted my head. "I had an important delivery to make, sis," he said. Just then, my bestest friend Lucille came running up to me. She pointed to a big stack of boxes. "It's cats and gowns, Junie B," she shouted. "Gus Baloney brought us cats and gowns." She twirled me all around. I heard him talking to the teacher. "The cats and gowns are right there in those boxes. Everyone is getting one for graduation," she said. I jumped up and down at that wonderful news. 'Cause who doesn't love cats? That's what I would like to know. "Cats and gowns," I hollered. "Cats and gowns," hollered room 9. Mrs. sat down in her chair real slow. Then Gus Baloney patted her shoulder, and he said the words, "Good luck." Mrs. said for room 9 to please stop shouting. "I'm sorry, boys and girls, but Lucille did not hear me correctly," she said. "No one in room 9 is getting a cat and gown for graduation." Room 9 did a loud groan. Ugh. "Then what are we getting exactly?" I asked. "Caps and gowns," said Mrs. "You're all getting a cap and gown for graduation, not cat and gown." No, said Lucille. "I heard you say cat, teacher. I know I did. Mrs. said for Lucille to hush. Then she passed out all the boxes to all the children. I looked inside my box, real curious. Then I kept looking and looking, because something was not right in there. "My cap got run over by a truck, I think," I said. "It is a big square flatso." Mrs. laughed. Then she came to my table, and she unfolded my cap, and she put it right on my head. "Hey, what do you know? It fits," I said. After that, all of us put on our caps and gowns, and we skipped all around the room. Only not Lucille, because she was still upset about the cat issue, of course. Pretty soon, the bell was going to ring, and so Mrs. made us put our outfits back in our boxes. "I'm going to let you take these home with you today," she said. "Oh, that's a mistake. But please do not play with them on the bus, and do not play with them at home either. These caps and gowns are white, okay? and white material gets soiled very easily. I know it, missus, I said. I know white material gets soiled easy, 'cause one time my Grandpa Miller spilled beer on his new white tie, and you can still see beer spots on that thing. Mrs. looked and looked at me a long time. Then she sat back down at her desk, very quiet, and she waited for the bell to ring. I bet she was. So, here is a picture of all the children in their caps and gowns. Hold that real still so y'all can see, if you can see. All right. Now, here's chapter 5, and I think I'm going to read that in a little while. So, it is chapter 5, $1,000,000, and I will read that shortly. All right? Bye.